Hello class, I am going to talk to you about your Modular 4 written assignment. Before I discuss it with you, I want to point out a few things in your lecture that are very important. First of all, read the entire lecture. When you come to the part that talks about the study, do, act, plan, do, make sure that you read that thoroughly because that is a huge part of your paper. And then finally, there are some links in the bottom of the lecture where you can look into and actually find some healthcare initiatives. So give me a minute here and I will see what happened to them. I just had them a few minutes ago. The one that I'm talking about takes you to the Medicaid, Medicare page. Here we go. And if you look at this page here and scroll down to the bottom, you will find a list of various healthcare initiatives. Now you don't not have to use these, but this is an example of where you can find some of this information. You can use anything that you felt is appropriate in the last lectures. All right, so now let's talk about the written assignment. Again, it is a 200-point page paper. And again, you'll be following APA format. I'll talk to you that when I get to the bottom of the rubric. So this is looking at a healthcare quality initiative at the national level. And you may have one already in mind, or you can look into the lecture where I just talked about. It focuses on the objectives, and your paper is to investigate and describe one of these healthcare initiatives. So you will first introduce your paper and identify the National Healthcare Quality Initiative. How did you locate it and why did you choose to use it? So that's usually your introductory paragraph. You can title it as an introduction or you can leave it as just the first paragraph. I'm going to suggest that you divide your paper up and give it titles. And I'll show you an example of that when I'm finished with this so you know what that looks like. So the second piece is just describe the missions and the goals of the initiative. The third criteria is to discuss the focus, the population of focus, or those who are served through the work of the initiative and the stakeholders or the team members that are involved. And this piece here is a big part of the paper, and that is the plan, do, study, act cycle that I just mentioned that you were looking at or reading through in your lecture. And basically, you can sort of equate it to the nursing process. You're looking at the measures, the evidence presented that need improvement, and then you look at what is going on between current and best practice, how can we improve it, and does it make a difference in the quality of care? So that's the plan part. This is the do, or sort of your interventions. And how will these, and the study part is how will these outcomes be measured or utilized, who oversees it, and then act is describe any refinement based on the data and describe the achieved outcomes that you as a result of the initiative. So that would be the summary for it, and then you summarize the paper. So your paper again should be a minimum of 3 pages in length, and that is 3 full pages. It can be longer than that. A separate title and a separate reference page, and it should include 2 current within the last 5 years scholarly reference, and include a title page and reference consistent with APA format. I'll refresh your memory on this when I show you the example. And again, you have rules of grammar. So just going through the rubric, you will receive 25 points for the introduction. Now, when you look at your rubric, make sure you are hitting all these pieces, because what a rubric does is define how you're going to be graded, And if there's a missing piece, I really can't give you points for it because it's not in the paper. So if you can see in this area here in the introduction, there's 3 parts to that, and those all need to be answered. The mission and the goals are presented, and mission is usually different than goals. A lot of times the mission is a statement and the goals are listed sort of like objectives. Then this is the population or focus of the study and the stakeholders and the team who's involved. And this is the second piece that needs to be described, and you can see there is a lot of points in this area. So please make sure that you cover each one and you go through the plan, what date is being presented, what are proposed, how does it make a difference in the quality of health care, what's being done, who's done so far, the study, how will this be measured, the act, describe any refinement or initiative based, describe the outcomes, and the summary. My suggestion is that you take this piece here and take a piece of paper and write all these words down and see if you can answer each one of these questions, and then you can go ahead and type your paper. Summary is at 25 points to get all these. How can nurses be involved in the initiative? So make sure again you're including all those pieces. So let me show you an example of what a sample paper would look like. This is a student that wrote this paper in the past and has given permission to share it. If you are deciding to use a running head, this is the format it should be in. You should be using Times Roman font 12 in an APA paper, and this is how your title should appear. So this is your introductory paragraph, and this is a nice way to start. You center your main heading, and then your secondary headings are off flush to the left and in bold. And this is a summary of this isn't the IOM and the reason this was chosen that meets the criteria. Then in this section are the mission and goals. In this section is the population of focus, and in this section is the plan, do, study, cycle. Now, if you want to break this even more into subheadings, you can go to the third level where you would put it flush with the first line here. I don't expect you do not have to do that, but if that's something you want to do or just to break it up a little more, you can. That way you know you're covering each of the areas. So this is a big part of the paper. And then finally, in the end of the paper is the summary. One suggestion with APA format, make sure that you're citing appropriately. If it's a direct quote, and only if it's a direct quote, do you include a page number here? So it would be P dot whatever page it came from. If it's from a website, it goes as para, P-A-R-A .3 for paragraph or whatever that is. And your references should look like this. This should be bolded, centered. This would be double spaced. This is indented, every line after. Make sure you're changing your hyperlinks to black. There are ways to do that on the internet. Sometimes it's just as easy if you have a hyperlink, then just type it in, making sure you have all the correct words. So that is basically what you are expected to do this week. If you have any questions, please let me know. This is not something you can do Sunday night starting at 5. This is a very large paper. It's a chunk of your points, and you do want to add all the information necessary.